David Muir, ABC's World News Tonight, America's most watched newscast. Now streaming same day with all the breaking news of the day on Disney+. Most watched, most trusted. Now on Disney+ every night.
Tonight, breaking news, the ICU nurse from the VA shot and killed in Minneapolis. Tonight, in addition to the images seen by millions across this country, DHS now says there is body camera video from some federal agents. Tonight, frame by frame of the eyewitness video, the chilling moments right here, and what we now know about the fatal shooting of 37-year-old Alex Pretti, shot by federal agents. Authorities believe at least 10 shots fired in just seconds. Alex Pretti hit multiple times. Tonight, the new phone call between President Trump and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. And late today, news of this major change. Who's leaving, who's coming, and will some agents leave as well? Also tonight, the death toll rising at this hour from the crippling winter storm. And tonight, the brutal cold now settling in for days. Hundreds of thousands remain without power, facing life-threatening wind chills. Treacherous driving, snow blowing through the doors of a commuter train outside New York City. Power lines sparking, coated in ice. 800,000 without power. And yes, Ginger Z is now watching what could be the next winter storm and where it could hit. Ginger is standing by. Tonight, the deadly plane crash right during the storm, the plane crashing during takeoff, and what we know so far. Tonight, Olympic snowboarder accused drug kingpin Ryan Wedding in court. This evening, the stunning images showing the moment a hotel ceiling collapses. Tonight, the heart-pounding event, the free solo climber scaling one of the tallest buildings in the world, and he makes it to the top. What he said after getting there. The Super Bowl set now, the New England Patriots, the Seattle Seahawks tonight, quarterback Drake May, and his new message. We'll see what Seattle thinks of this. And America Strong tonight, the meteorologist live outside on the air right during the storm, and what happens right in front of him over and over again. You have to see this.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening. We do begin tonight with breaking news. That death toll growing from this major storm, the life-threatening cold tonight and tomorrow morning, and now a potential new storm. Ginger Z is here. But we begin tonight with news coming in after the deadly shooting of an ICU nurse for the VA, shot and killed by federal agents in Minneapolis. A warning tonight, the images are disturbing. Tonight, we take you moment by moment through the images from eyewitnesses. Multiple officers seen wrestling 37-year-old Alex Pretti to the ground. While he appears down, at least 10 shots are fired within seconds. He died at the scene. Images also appear to show an agent pulling a gun from Alex Pretti's waistband that Pretti had a license to legally carry just before the first shot was fired. Tonight, there is news of a phone call now between President Trump and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, and multiple sources telling ABC News the man at the center of the immigration crackdown in Minnesota, Commander-at-Large Greg Bovino, could be leaving Minneapolis as early as tomorrow. Tonight, here the eyewitness videos, what they show and what DHS said happened up against what the videos show. ABC's Trevor Ault leading us off from Minneapolis.
Tonight, tensions soaring in Minneapolis after the second deadly shooting of an American citizen by federal agents this month. Late today, sources telling ABC News Border Patrol Commander-at-Large Greg Bovino, along with some Border Patrol agents, are expected to leave Minneapolis as early as tomorrow. Bovino, seen in recent days tossing a smoke grenade into an unruly crowd. He's been the face of immigration enforcement operations in the city for weeks. Border Czar Tom Homan is now being sent in by President Trump. The move comes amid growing scrutiny and serious questions over what really happened in the fatal shooting of an ICU nurse who worked at the VA, 37-year-old Alex Pretti. Tonight, DHS says they're now reviewing body camera video which captured the shooting from multiple angles. So far, the public has not seen it. What it has seen is this.
They have just shot a man.
They shot that guy.
Tonight, a frame-by-frame analysis of eyewitness video. At 8:58 a.m. Saturday, 37-year-old Alex Pretti is seen holding his phone, apparently attempting to record federal agents as they make an arrest. At no point does he appear to be holding a gun. The situation escalates with officers approaching Pretti. An agent can then be seen shoving a woman into Pretti. You can see the two holding onto each other as agents move in. An agent then pushing another woman to the ground. It appears that nurse, Alex Pretti, tries to help the woman and is then pepper sprayed by agents as he moved in to shield her. Both of Alex Pretti's hands are visible, one holding onto his phone, the other hand held up, appearing to try to shield himself from the pepper spray. Several agents swarm in, tackling Pretti to the ground, and it escalates further. Another group of officers surround him, hitting him down, appearing to strike him multiple times.
They are hitting that observer! They are kicking them in the face!
At 9:01 a.m., you see a federal officer in a gray jacket appear to reach near Pretti's waistband, pulling out a gun that Pretti had a permit to carry. 1 second later, the first shot is fired. You can see some officers stepping back. In the next 5 seconds, 9 more shots. Onlookers horrified.
What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you?
Oh my...
Soon after, an officer is heard saying, "I got the gun." Alex Pretti's body lying in the street. He died at the scene.
What did you just do?
Millions of Americans have now seen the images. These were the first words from Secretary Kristi Noem after news broke that another American citizen had been killed.
An individual approached U.S. Border Patrol officers with a 9mm semi-automatic handgun. The officers attempted to disarm this individual, but the armed suspect reacted violently.
She described it this way.
This looks like a situation where an individual arrived at this scene to inflict maximum damage on individuals and to kill law enforcement.
Alex Pretti's parents call the administration's claims lies, saying in a statement, "The sickening lies told about our son by the administration are reprehensible and disgusting," adding about their son, "He was a good man." In court documents, a doctor who treated Alex Pretti at the scene says agents shot Pretti at least 6 or 7 times, adding the victim had at least 3 bullet wounds in his back, an additional gunshot wound on the victim's upper left chest, and another possible gunshot wound on his neck. Another witness saying it didn't look like he was trying to resist. 4 or 5 agents had him on the ground, and they just started shooting him. According to a court filing, the FBI has collected Pretti's phone and handgun as evidence. State officials immediately demanding their own investigation into the shooting.
Thank God we have video, because according to DHS, these 7 heroic guys took an onslaught of a battalion against them or something. It's nonsense, people. It is nonsense, and it's lies.
Tonight, Governor Walz now says he had a conversation with President Trump and called it productive, saying the president would look into reducing the number of federal agents that have been surged into the state. Tonight, Alex Pretti's family and friends are mourning.
We remember and give thanks.
Pretti seen in this moment on the job at the VA hospital, leading the final salute for a fallen veteran.
Today we remember that freedom is not free. We have to work at it, nurture it, protect it, and even sacrifice for it.
Pretti's father telling the AP his son protested because he was upset with the ICE crackdown.
He cared about people deeply, and he was very upset with what was happening in Minneapolis and throughout the United States with ICE, as millions of other people are upset.
And so, David, now in addition to those videos that have been seen by the entire world, the federal officials will be investigating the body camera videos of this shooting. They also want a judge to remove a temporary restraining order requiring the administration preserve all evidence in this shooting. They say the order is not necessary because they were already preserving evidence, but local officials argue the administration can't be trusted. David.
Trevor Old leading us off from Minneapolis. Trevor, thank you. Tonight, meanwhile, President Trump facing growing scrutiny within his own party over how this immigration crackdown is being handled. Mary Bruce at the White House tonight.
Tonight, President Trump facing a rare and growing backlash from members of his own party. Some big-name Republicans, including the governor of Texas, now urging him to, quote, recalibrate his immigration crackdown. Others denouncing the administration's rush to judgment after federal officers killed Alex Pretti.
He was there to perpetuate violence.
Even as the country watched video of Pretti's killing, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem quick to accuse him of domestic terrorism. The president labeling him a gunman. Deputy White House Chief of Staff Stephen Miller calling Pretti an assassin, a comment reposted by Vice President J.D. Vance. But tonight, the conservative editorial board of the Wall Street Journal writing bluntly, the Trump administration's spin on this simply isn't believable. The conservative New York Post writing, Mr. President, the American people didn't vote for these scenes, and you can't continue to order them to not believe their lying eyes. Texas Senator Ted Cruz saying the administration's tone should be more measured.
Immediately when an incident like this happens, they come out guns blazing that we took out a violent terrorist. Hooray. Escalating the rhetoric doesn't help, and it actually loses credibility.
Today, I asked the White House.
Secretary Noem said Alex Pretti committed an act of domestic terrorism. Stephen Miller labeled Pretti a domestic terrorist. Does the president agree with them?
Look, as I've said, I have not heard the president characterize Mr. Pretti in that way. However, I have heard the president say he wants to let the facts in the investigation lead itself.
Tonight, at least 29 Republican members of Congress demanding a full investigation. And conservative Texas Governor Greg Abbott says it's time for the White House to recalibrate their immigration enforcement tactics.
Go about their job in a more structured way to make sure that they are going to be able to remove these people without causing all the kinds of problems and fighting in communities that they are experiencing right now.
David, it's clear the White House is trying to change its tone tonight. The president speaking today with Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. Also late today, speaking with Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey. But when asked about Secretary Kristi Noem, who said Pretti committed an act of domestic terrorism, the press secretary said Noem has the, quote, utmost trust and confidence of the president. David.
Mary Bruce with us tonight as well. Mary, thank you. We turn now to the deadly winter storm and the brutal cold now here for days. The death toll rising tonight. Hundreds of thousands without power at this hour, now dealing with below freezing wind chills tonight. And this evening, the next potential storm we are already watching here. It could hit the east. Ginger Z has the forecast at Whit Johnson on this crippling storm.
Tonight, the death toll rising from that powerful winter storm that cut a 2,000-mile devastating path of snow and ice across the U.S. Snowfall rates of up to 2 inches per hour in parts of New York City, totaling more than 11 inches, the most in nearly 5 years. We were out on the streets of New York today.
Take a look at the conditions right now. The plows have done a pretty good job clearing the roads, but you can see the side streets especially are still very slick with slush and ice. Officials are urging folks to stay home, stay off the roads so that crews can do their work.
Snow blowing right through the open doors of this deserted commuter train on Long Island. Families opening doors to huge drifts in Marlboro, New York. Ooh-wee. The suburbs digging out for more than a foot.
I was expecting a lot, but I didn't think it was going to live up to it, and it did more than that.
Outside Boston, plow crews battling a whopping 22 inches of snow in Sterling, Massachusetts, the most in the state.
Our guys love when we're the jackpot. They kind of take a lot of pride in what we do. We're prepared for it. You know, we would rather be plowing 20 inches, I think, than 2 inches at a time a bunch of times.
Giant snow melters getting rid of tons of snow in Philadelphia. More than 9 inches there, the city's biggest snowfall in 10 years. In Louisville, officers digging out this driver, pushing him down the road. Across the south, freezing rain and ice thick enough to take down huge trees.
Oh no, oh no, oh no!
Heather McAprang watching as this one came crashing down. And in Nashville on icy Interstate 65, a big rig crashing into an overhead sign, causing it to collapse and shutting down part of the highway. Hundreds of thousands losing power across the storm zone. These power lines arcing south of Nashville in Franklin. Our Victor Okendo is there.
This entire neighborhood is under snow and ice. Almost everyone here is without power. You can see this large tree. It came crashing down. It snapped and brought some power lines down with it. But now these crews are on scene working to restore power.
And in Oxford, Mississippi, conditions so treacherous, utility crews were pulled back overnight over fears of falling trees. Authorities issuing a shelter-in-place order. Mississippi's governor confirming at least 2 weather-related deaths in that state.
And David, with the wind chill, it will feel like below zero across much of the Northeast and the South, where hundreds of thousands of people will be waking up without power. David.
Unbelievable storm, so wide-ranging. With Johnson, our thanks to you. Let's get right to Chief Meteorologist Ginger Z, back with us on a Monday night as well. Hi, Ginger.
Hi, David. For New York and Philadelphia, this will be the longest sub-freezing stretch we've had since at least 2018. So we are not alone. Look at all of the extreme cold warnings and the alerts that go down to the Gulf Coast back to Houston. And that's the problem is tomorrow morning, a place like northern Mississippi or Alabama into Tennessee where they don't have power will have sub-freezing wind chills, potentially 5 below for Nashville. Now, we will see a little bubble above 32 for the midweek, but it doesn't last long. A huge plunge of cold air goes even farther south for the weekend, and we are stuck in this pattern, David, watching the potential for another storm for the East Coast by this weekend.
By this weekend, unbelievable. Ginger, thank you. We'll see you first thing in the morning on GMA. The storm potentially to blame for a deadly plane crash in Bangor, Maine. The images tonight, the plane crashing during takeoff in the storm, then catching fire. 6 people on board believed to have been killed. That airport closed. And tonight, the storm leading to one of the worst days for cancellations in U.S. history. More than 20,000 flights canceled since Friday. Major hubs in Dallas, New York, Boston slowly getting back to normal, but it could take another day or two. Tonight, former Olympic snowboarder Ryan Wedding in court for the first time since being arrested just a short time ago. He pleaded not guilty to federal charges in Santa Ana, California. He's accused of smuggling 6 tons of cocaine a year into the U.S., running a criminal enterprise and having a witness killed. A Canadian national, he surrendered to authorities after hiding in Mexico for a decade. When we come back here tonight, you have to see this. The meteorologist live outside on the air in the middle of this storm and what happens right in front of him over and over again. You'll see how he deals with it. Also tonight, the stunning images from a hotel lobby here in the U.S. The moment the ceiling collapses right there with visitors watching. Unbelievable. The heart-pounding event tonight, the climber scaling one of the tallest buildings in the world, and what he said, this is incredible when he got to the top there. And as you know, the Super Bowl set, the New England Patriots, the Seattle Seahawks tonight, quarterback Drake May and his new message. We'll see what Seattle thinks of this. We'll be right back. A lot more news ahead. Tonight, a high-speed chase and rollover crash in suburban Atlanta. Officials say a 17-year-old stole a car, led deputies on a chase, speeds topping 115 miles per hour, coming to an end when the SUV hit a bend in the road, flipping several times and landing upside down. The driver with minor injuries now under arrest. A hotel roof collapsing just outside Oklahoma City, water gushing in the lobby before a chunk of the ceiling came crashing down in front of everyone. Workers at the Embassy Suite say the collapse did not impact the rest of the hotel. No one was hurt, but they do believe that cold weather did lead to this. When we come back here tonight, the meteorologist live on the air and what happens right in front of him. You'll see it and what he does. And the new message tonight from the Patriots quarterback. Will Seattle agree? In a moment here. To the index of other news tonight, American climber Alex Honnold pulling off a free solo climb of one of the tallest buildings in the world. Honnold scaled Taipei 101 without ropes. Look at him there. 101 floors, 1,600 feet tall. Honnold reached the top in just 90 minutes. He says he hopes this climb inspires people. Wow, that's really incredible, to chase their own goals. It's like doing this newscast every night. The Super Bowl is set tonight. The Seahawks and the Patriots. The Seahawks clinched the NFC, defeating the Rams, led by a masterful performance by quarterback Sam Darnold. Quarterback Drake May fueling the Patriots' win over the Broncos. May basking in the excitement of heading to his first Super Bowl, saying, quote, "The Pats are back, baby." When we come back here tonight, the meteorologist who was live on the air. You'll see what happened and what he did in a moment here. Finally tonight here, America Strong, the meteorologist who did the weather and did some good. Tonight in Oklahoma City, amid this monster storm, meteorologist Michael Armstrong from KOCO 5 News, let's just say, going above and beyond.
It's hard to even talk. I'm going to turn my back to the camera for a second.
Reporting all weekend live outside in the storm.
Once people get up here to the red light, they can go nowhere. They just keep getting stuff right here.
But it's what he did off camera that had many grateful. Between his live weather reports, helping the very drivers in the stuck vehicles he had just been reporting on, helping to dig them out. His photojournalist Kyle Ham right there with him too, shoveling the snow out from under the tires and giving the cars a push. Getting them moving again and out of this critical intersection right next to a major hospital.
All of a sudden we have a huge increase in the wind, piles the snow up into these drifts, and you're not going to make it through with two-wheel drive. You're just not.
Reporting from blocked interstate exit ramps too.
It's really tough. This person's trying to go up the ramp right now. They just kind of step out of the way. These people are trying to get around this truck.
After that report, picking up a shovel, clearing a path in front of that semi, and going around back. That's him under the 18-wheeler, spreading salt and sand. And right here tonight,
Hi, David.
Michael Armstrong with his latest report.
We still have a lot of snow on the ground, and some of that's melting, creating some black ice conditions. So the storm is not quite over for us yet, even though we don't have any additional snow falling.
Thanks for that update, Michael. And thank you for what you do on and off camera. America Strong.
Thank you, David. We're just one small part of this big storm, but we're doing everything we can to help people along the way.
The real question is, how is your back tonight? We'll send you some Advil. I'll see you right here tomorrow. Good night.
David Muir, the most trusted anchor in America, the most watched anchor in America. Thank you for making World News Tonight with David Muir the #1 newscast in America.